Pleased to meet you. This is Fixed and Folded, the knife review channel for the casual knife collector. I'm Cody. Tommy will probably be making an appearance here. He's just by the front door, my assistant cat. And today I'm going to be doing a review of the medium to full size Anv knives Z or Z100. Sounds better to say Z100. In Canada we say Z100. I'm just going to go ahead and call it Z100. So this is from Czechoslovakia. Anv stands for Acta Non Verba, which is action, not words, which is, cool. That's kind of like how the Spartans used to be. They were laconic. They used as few words as possible, historically, according to the historians. And they let their actions speak for themselves. So this is a good knife. Let's go over it. So between medium and full size, this is exactly 8 inches long from tip of the blade to the end of the handle. You get another 1/4 inch of the over deep carry pocket clip. So complete overall dimensions is 8 1/4 inches, but practical dimensions, blade and handle, 8 inches. So that puts you right up there with Benchmade Griptilian and Spyderco Tenacious size. So medium size would be Benchmade Bug Out, and then full size would be Benchmade Freak. Spyderco medium size would be Paramilitary 3, and then full size would be maybe, I'd say PM2 is about this size. So intermediate size, not medium, not full size, in between. This is going to be a good size for most people, up to extra large hands. I wear extra large gloves, 3.5 inches finger width, 4-inch palm width, 7-inch base of the palm, tip of the finger. And I'll show you with extra large gloves, I can still get full purchase on the handle. And all my tactical knives are easy to operate wearing gloves. I'd say that's should be a factor in classifying a knife as a tactical knife, one of the qualifying features. And it's just a label. A tactical knife is a label. It's, there's the earlier people, Bob Trezzola, that invented knives that they called a tactical knife for military and police use, gave criteria for a tactical knife. It's up to whatever you call it, whatever you want to call it, but tactical knife should be good at piercing, it should be good at slicing and cutting, should be easy to operate with the gloves, and it should also be durable, should also be tough. You should be able to rely on it in a emergency situation for cutting things, piercing things, and including emergency self-defense. So this has sculpted G10 handles and a fancy version of a D2 steel called Sleipner steel. I'm gonna say this is close to like a CPM D2 material, so you're getting into mid-range. I'm gonna call this a mid-level steel. An upgrade over D2 should have more toughness than D2. It still has good edge holding, and still it's not a stainless, so it's gonna be semi-stainless, like 5 out of 10 stainlessness, and to be a stainless knife you got to be 7 out of 10 or higher. So you don't have to worry. Well, this has a coating on it, but if it's uncoated, you don't have to worry about cleaning it off right away if it gets wet, but definitely when you get the opportunity, clean it off, because eventually a semi-stainless like a D2 will rust if you don't keep it dry. But this has a really nice coating. It's like a DLC or a Cerakote, I forget which it is, but during my testing, oh, here's Tommy. During my testing, it's been very durable, and it's got a low reflectivity, like a matte finish. Excuse me. It's got a nice low reflectivity finish on there. And the grind, nice even edge grind from the factory. Nice even edge bevel. So even like this, it's not off to one side. And sharpness out of the box was it was all right. It would catch on receipt paper and cut, but it would kind of snag a little bit here and there. So I'd say I'd give it like a rating of like a C out of the box. I gave it a little strop. I tend to just strop my knives with my stropping compound, and it improved it to like a C plus now. So I'd say slicing now is good. I'll show you. I'll show you right now. Actually, we'll do a little cutting test. So I've got my paracord and my receipt paper here. I'll start with some receipt paper. Tommy, put your safety goggles and helmet on for this test. So you see, catches right away and smooth, and there's no fraying. It's nice clean lines. Piercing. I would say because the blade tapers down to a stout tip, not a needle point, you have to put, it's not super efficient as a piercer, but it is durable. So this is good. This is going to be it inspires confidence in hand. This could be a police or military knife. Now we'll do a paracord cutting test. I don't think I've done a paracord cutting test with this like preview, so let's see. Okay, so it did cut it with about medium to medium hard effort. There is not much fraying, nice clean. I'll try to do one more. Okay, so about medium effort, and after my stropping there, you get pretty clean cut. Not a lot of fraying. So yeah, it performs decently well. You have a high saber grind with sort of a talon shaped blade. You've got your unsharpened swedge on the top that goes down about a quarter length of the blade. You have a nice crowned spine on the blade. Crowned is crowned just means that it's being rounded off, sort of like a dome, like a semicircle. And that's sort of like a flex on the manufacturing of the companies. A lot of Italian knives will have crowned spines and crowned hardware. And on the crown, it says Acta non verba there. And labeling on the knife, you got the company logo. It's an ANV. And on the other side, it says Z100. And then it says I Slepner, or one Slepner, and then it says made in Czech Republic. And it's nice. It's the billboarding is not. It's subtle. It's ghosted. It's like gray. It's not white. It's not flashy. It's there, but it's not in your face. And so that suits my aesthetic that I tend to look for in knives. You got this gimmicky glow in the dark, but little indent on the tabs. I guess I'll show you quickly here. It does retain its glow for a little while if you put it up with some significant light. And there it looks like tritium, where tritium is a radioactive material that will stay glowing for like 25 years, or the half-life is quite long, 20 years or 10 years or something, where this is just your typical phosphorescent or like light photosensitive that will, it's a gimmick. You're going to be having this knife in your pouch or in your pocket, that to the point where you're not going to be in super bright daylight with this exposed and then go into a dark place and use this as a reference. It's just a gimmick. Flipper tab is well designed on the knife. It's comfortable. You can't, but just the shape of it, you can see it goes up like a ducktail. It's not made for push button opening. It's made for light switching, but it's comfortable. There's no sharp edges, and it works well. The action on the washers is quite stiff out of the box. Apparently they use in-house designed Teflon washers that have 6 or 7 lubrication points, something like that, on the washers. And I mean, it feels like nylon, and nylon's smooth. You still now, after deploying it, working it in a little bit, come here, working it in a little bit, you still have to be firm with the deployment. You have to be deliberate. If I go half-ass on it, watch, it's not going to deploy. So it's not like super light action like on bearings. You have to deploy it firmly for it to go. And you have a nice, it's not going to be a drop shutty action. What you have is a deliberate tension along the whole motion of the action, and that provides a nice sense of control. So it's going to be pretty hard to accidentally cut yourself during the intermediate stage of blade deployment. The thickness to blade thickness, the handle thickness to blade thickness ratio is nice. The handle thickness is medium for an 8-inch long knife. Blade thickness is also medium. And Tommy's going crazy right now. And so it's a nice balanced design. Just overall, the height of the handle and the blade, width, length, the proportions are pleasing. It feels balanced in the hand, easy to maneuver. It's light for its size. So for the handle, you have a steel liner on one side, and on the other side, you just have a slab of G10. Now, there is some flex, but I'm just doing it in the center here. It's quite minimal, but if I go to the end, there you can see it's pinchy. I think that in use, the flex is not going to be an issue. It's not really noticeable. And so the trade-off of lightweight to budget materials, or material to weight ratio for the cost, for the flexibility there, I'd say that's all around decent value. Handle comfort, it's a nice neutral handle shape, subtle swoops, subtle cutouts. Everything's been, I don't know to say chamfered, but there's no sharp edges. Everything's kind of relatively smooth. So hand comfort is quite good. I can feel the clip style what do we call that? The paper clip style wire clip for the pocket. I can feel it. It's not a hot spot. It was very stiff out of the box. I could not put it onto my pants, so I just literally did this. I lifted it up with my finger there and then just pulled it up enough where I could feel the tension point sort of maximizing before it would bend significantly, and it's still touching the handle, but now it will go in my pocket easily and still provide a good amount of tension, so it's not going to accidentally come out. Show you here, I got my 511 strike pants that I wear exclusively, and with not a lot of effort, goes in. It's more than full deep carry, and to release it, you just have to put your finger under the clip there, lift up a little bit, it comes out. So let's see if I partially put it in, if it's easier to pull out. There's a bit showing this way. Just grab it from the top and it will come out. So you can sort of control how you want to put it into your pocket. If you want more secure, harder to get out, they're both secure, just less visible, harder to get out, more visible, easier to get out. It's up to you. The clip rides high up on the handle, and yeah, I can feel it. I can feel the edge here, but because it's rounded and not sharp, it's not going to be a hot spot. Maybe with bare hands, over time, yes, it'll become a hot spot, but for single use, a little bit of multiple use, not going to be a big issue. And you have the option of switching it over to left-hand carry or just removing it if you don't need to use the clip. So I'll say the design of the clip is okay. I think if it was down in the center, it would probably be less of a potential hot spot here, and that might be more of an ideal decision. Although they did, I see why Acta non verba put it here, because it lines up with the, I guess we would call that a barrel spacer. And let me see how the blade closes. Yeah, you couldn't put the barrel spacer down here because then the blade would contact it. So I see what they did, and it is functional. Reverse grip is very comfortable. Pinch grip is, draw cut grip is comfortable. Pinch grip, saber grip, hammer grip. You don't want to do a choke up on this because the design is for more blade length instead of having a proper choke up point. So I wouldn't recommend choking up, but you have a good control. Just with the dimensions of the knife, you have decent blade control. You can always go more thumb forward to do more control or draw cut shape, and so I don't feel like there's too much of a trade-off not having a proper choke-up point for the fine blade control. Fit and finish has been good. The tip is pretty centered. You can see there, pretty centered, just a little, maybe a little bit off-center to one direction. The blade centering does, overall, it does lean to one side because the liner lock has tension on it, and it pushes the blade over to the side. It does not rub against the frame, and then when you deploy it, it deploys straight. So as long as the blade isn't touching the frame when it's closed, if it deploys straight, I'm happy with that. I'm not going to complain. The impression of quality in the hand is good. It feels tactical in that it feels like it's using lightweight materials, so it doesn't feel as pleasant in the hand as an all-metal knife with the metal handle, but it does feel like it's a good weight to rigidity and durability ratio. So of all the knives I'm going to be showing you at the end here, if weight is a major factor for you, like a bug out, this could be a bug out bag knife, is what I'm saying, more than a Benchmade bug out, because this is more rigid, larger, still lightweight. So this could be an actual bug out bag knife for someone if they're going to put a folder in there, because it's light for the size of it and still feels like it's going to be able to do up to heavy duty tasks in an emergency. Just aesthetically, it's minimalist, but there's enough style to it that it's subtle, that it's, I would say it's not boring, it's not bland, it has its own personality, but it is, if you want to like understated designs to be very happy with this knife design. I do like understated minimalist designs. It's cool. I can feel, here's a very subtle break in the finger cutout areas, and I can feel where my two fingers are supposed to sit here. There's a little ridge, and then my back two fingers, and you can't really see it so much as you can feel it. That's a nice subtlety in the design. So you have a minimal amount of body screws. You have a T8 pivot screw and a T8 pocket clip screw, and that's it. And some nice little butt caps, some nice little caps. So that lends to the tactical intent of the knife, that it has a minimal amount of hardware. Nice flow through construction on the handle. You just have your pivot system here and one barrel spacer, one big reinforced barrel spacer in the back. So again, minimalist construction. Boy, the lockup is significant. It's more than all the way, kind of right in the middle of the blade. So I don't know if we want to, do we want to call that 50% lockup, 100% lockup? I don't know what the terminology for lockup is when it goes more than all the way in, but you have a significant amount of contact there with the frame lock and the blade. And when I got it from the box, it would stick, but now it doesn't stick anymore. It's actually nice and smooth to release. That doesn't make any sound. Interestingly, it has quite a large detent. Is that a ball? I'll just call that I don't really think it's a ball. I think it's more of like a detent square, let's call that. Or cylinder, I'll call it a detent cylinder. And they have milled out, they've punched a hole through the knife that lines up with the detent. So what you get is a nice, hear this? You get a nice click, and it gives it really nice safety for not accidentally opening in your pocket. That's about as hard as I can shake it. Nothing. So nice and safe closed position, and a nice satisfying snicked sound for opening and closing. Just the one method of deployment is the flipper. No thumb studs, nothing else. And works. It works. So the knife has a personality of its own. Yeah, I think it has its own, I don't know to say that it sits alone. I'm sure there are other lightweight knives in this price range. This price was $229, so $230 Canadian before tax and shipping. So I ordered this from Vancouver, Blades Canada. All in, tax and shipping, cost me $250. And at that price point, you have a lot of options for knives of this size, knives of this theory of use. And yeah, this just fits in there. It's right in the mix of good knives for $230, $250 Canadian. There are a lot of competitors, but this is, I would say, equal to most of the knives, better than some, but you know, in the middle of the pack. This is in the middle of the pack for $230, $250 knife Canadian. So then it just comes down to, is your hand gonna fit it? So up to extra large hands. I'd say large, maybe medium, yeah, I'd say medium to extra large hands is good for this. Do you want a knife of this size? 3.5 inch blade and 4.5 inch handle total length. So total length is 8 inches. The usable finger space is 3 3/4 inches. The blade length is 3.5 and the cutting edge is 3.5. You can see cutting edge goes right up to the beginning of the handle there. So I'll do a weight on this. And less than 4 ounces is light, more than 5 ounces is heavy, and it's 3.5 ounces, so that is light. So this is a light knife. That's impressive considering it's you know, an intermediate size between medium and full size. I guess now I'm going to do a size comparison with my other tactical knives. Go. And you can see this is the shortest of the bunch, but if you look at overall dimensions, blade shape, blade, height and handle height, it's still comparable to these. And so you got your ACTF from Fox Knives, designed by Bob Terzola. Same length, but a bit taller. Benchmade Presidio 2. And longest knife of the bunch, about the same tallness as Presidio, is the Kaiser Begleiter 2, or the Begleiter XL. And so yeah, you can see this is between medium and full size. I'd say the Terzola, the Fox A8 TCF is the beginning of your full size knives. And this is going to be larger than full size. This is getting into your extra large dimensions here. So, what am I going to rate this out of 10? Well, for the money, it's expensive. Anything over $200, I'm going to say, is an expensive knife. You're paying a lot for the design. You're paying a lot for importing it from Czechoslovakia. Things made in Europe, things made in North America are going to cost more than things made in China. So paying for the design, feel in hand, everything. This is not a good value of a knife. It's also not a rip-off. I'd say factoring in cutting performance, feel in hand, how well does it do tactical knife things. I'm going to give this an 8. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. So it's a good knife. It's maybe not a great knife, but if you have one of these or handle one of these and you do some testing with it, I'd like to know if you have a different opinion. Maybe you hate this. Maybe you think it feels flimsy. Maybe you love it. Maybe it just totally resonates with you and this is exactly what you're looking for your knife, and then you give it a 10 out of 10. I think this is one of those knives that is good enough that this could be someone's favorite knife. It shouldn't be anyone's least favorite knife. But yeah, so 8 out of 10 knife. The Anv Z100 or Z100. You can grab this in different color variations of the blade and maybe some serrations on bladescanada.com. So that concludes my review. You guys have a great day, and I will have another review coming up for you soon. Okay, bye.